welcome to FedScoopTV. I'm Colby Hockmuth, sitting here with Michael Thorp, Sales Director at August Schell. Thanks for joining us.
No problem, thank you for having me.
Great, so first off, what are some of the trends you're seeing in open source technology?
I would say some trends that I'm seeing in open source is that open source is becoming a leader. If you look at something like Obamacare is a big hot topic in the DC area right now and in the government. It's a problem, and Red Hat was tapped as one of the leaders to help solve this problem. Red Hat's a leader in open source, so open source is being looked at as a solution to solve such a hot topic in DC. So that's kind of what I think.
Yeah, and so what are some of the areas in government who've seen the quickest adoption of open source?
The quickest adoption, I think you've seen adoption all over the place. As far as our customers, I mean, I think the people that look to it first, certainly education. Education's always looking for any way to cut costs and do more with less. So we've seen a lot of adoption in education. You've also seen adoption in very large enterprise, like in the Intel community, where there's option A of spending, multi-million dollars on a product, or option B of trying open source to reduce this. So I think both those are definitely leaders in the open source movement.
Right. And so what are some of the things that the private sector can learn from government's adoption of open source?
Yeah, I think some of the things the private sector could learn from the government is if you look at something like NASA. NASA was one of the champions behind OpenStack, a big product right now in the open source world, probably one of the hottest up and coming products. And NASA was a champion, they were a lead developer on this, and I think you just look at them and you say, the private sector should be doing this more, because NASA got a lot of public, I guess you could call it, clout from this, and a lot of good free press. And obviously, for-profit companies are always looking for free press.
Right.
Yeah.
And so looking to the future, what are some of the trends you're seeing for how it's going to evolve the adoption of open source technology?
Yeah, I would say the easiest trend to look at you look at a conference like this, or Red Hat's larger conference that they're having this spring, I believe, out in San Francisco, or OpenStack conference out in Seattle, and all of them are packed. I mean, if you go to any of these conferences, the rooms are packed, there's no seats, and they're packed for a reason. I mean, I've been to plenty of technology conferences. There's tons of them. There's one every day, it feels like, in the DC area. And the open source ones tend to be a lot busier, in my opinion, and I think that's an indication that the future is there and people are interested.
Right. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is FedScoopTV. I'm Colby Hockmuth.